This episode of HD Nation is brought to you by Gamefly.
Hey, it's time to get our HD Nation on. The Samsung D8000, I saw one here in the Revision 3 offices. That was bad to have one just sitting there, just tempting me. It's also sitting in my current shopping cart on Amazon.com. So.
And the price has gone down like $500.
Yeah,
just do it, dude.
Way tempting.
Just do it.
You watch anything on TV?
Oh, I've actually been spending more time trying to figure out the mounting on the new projector more than anything else.
I need to come over and take a look at that room just so I can visualize it better.
You're going to look at that room and you're just going to be like, this is awful. Gosh, what have we been watching? I've been watching way too much Wonder Pets with my son, which is a really good way to put together. Watching children's SD programming on iTunes is a great way to put together a list of compression errors that people should watch out for before shipping product to iTunes for hosting. Although it's not as bad as some I've seen where they didn't actually de-interlace standard def content.
That's terrible.
Yeah, it's really irritating, especially if you paid for a season and then you find out that it's not
especially if that's being broadcast in progressive format too, because that's like pretty much burned into the video, and you need a really good video processor to unrip all that apart and refix it. And
you know, and there's no sort of de-interlacing button on the Apple TV. So fortunately, this is one of the not horrendously encoded shows, but it's not one of the best encoded shows either. It's I mean, it's frustrating.
I feel your pain. I've been just sitting in front. Last weekend I spent watching the MotoGP race in Spain, and it was raining the entire time during the race, and that was the most exciting racing I have seen in so long. I watched it three times.
Sliding off the side of the track.
That was part of it, but it just kept it exciting throughout the entire match. And yeah, it was raining, it was tough riding, and sure, some people dumped their equipment, and you look at the price of those bikes too. They really don't get into how much those things cost, but millions of dollars. But that was just some of the best motorsports I've seen in a long time. And F1's coming up this week, so it's like race 2 in the season. I'm golden for a little while.
A bunch of you have asked about, do we trust Monoprice's brackets for hanging stuff? I actually just bought their, quote, ceiling bracket for projector. They didn't spend any money on that. They had $12.48 for the projector mount itself. Goes up to 44 inches from the ceiling. $10.92 if you buy 50 or more. And one of their flat HDMI cables. I got a 25-foot flat HDMI cable for $22 in my efforts to try to get the HDMI cable under the carpet because I don't want to drill any holes in the floor in the nice Craftsman home.
I'm actually looking to get, I need an RF cable that's flat if possible, a coax style.
Ooh.
I think that should be available. I'm currently running one under a carpet and you can barely see that little hump, and it's just like, I can get rid of that, I think.
You could use thicker padding on the carpet.
That's true. I don't own any of that, so I'm not trying to change it too much. But anywho, Samsung says that Samsung makes the home 3D experience more affordable than ever. How? Well, they're now including 2 pairs of their 3D active glasses with their new HD TVs. Better yet, an extra pair of glasses will cost less than $50. Hopefully, other manufacturers will follow their lead. I have I think one 3D movie at home, but I don't have a 3D TV yet. So the nice thing is, I think that Samsung's responding to some of the pressure they're feeling, maybe from some of the new passive 3D technology TVs that are coming out right now that feature relatively inexpensive glasses. So much so that they usually include like 4 pairs in the box.
Is there a decent passive HD TV for 3D at this point?
I think the new Vizios that are out right now represent some of the best out there. And really? LG, which they're using LG panels, but LG's also starting to ship theirs as well. I would look to them to be the current leaders in the passive technology because I mean, they also, if you look at the product lineup, actually, they offer both technologies, which is still a little confusing right now because if you want passive 3D, make sure you're really paying attention to what it says on the box or in the ad that you're looking at, because both companies currently do offer
both.
They are offering both, depending on most plasmas. I think all plasmas right now are active. So if you're looking at plasma versus LCD, there's one differentiator for the whole to-do.
3D is such a moving target because Toshiba actually says they swear that they will introduce a glasses-free 3D TV in the next 12 months. Ooh. I expect we will see a prototype at CES 2012 in January.
Yeah, I think they showed us a prototype at this year, but it was a...
Well, I should say a prototype for a model they actually expect to ship.
With a model number, there's the key.
Rather than a prototype in a room so people can go, oh, I saw 3D without glasses. It's actually, you always see 3D without glasses, just this time it was filtered through an HD TV.
Hey, speaking of projectors, right in front of us here, we're finishing up our review of a trio of front projectors, and this time around we have the JVC DLA-X3 Procision front projector. $4,500 list price for 3-chip design that uses JVC's direct drive image light amplification, or DILA for short. DILA, like DLP, it's a reflective technology, but instead of the fast tilting micromirrors that make up the pixels in a DLP-based display, DLA systems feature a layer of liquid crystal on top of the silicon structure that's used to modulate the light. You might hear it termed liquid crystalline silicon. And this 3-chip design basically processes the red, the blue, and green light separately, eliminating the need for a spinning color wheel that single-chip projectors require. Now, that means no rainbow artifacts. If you're sensitive to that, 3-chip designs eliminate that altogether. Also, the lack of a color wheel means more light from the lamp module reaching the screen and eventually to your eyes. And that extra brightness comes in handy when you consider that the X3 has 3D capability. Actually includes a nifty pair of glasses and an emitter. These are active technology. We were just talking about that. These are the liquid crystal shutter glasses to provide full 1080p resolution to both eyes. Pretty nice. Actually, I'm going to put these on over my glasses just so I can see. Actually, I can't see anything when I put those on. But
that is a fascinating look.
Fascinating. Basically, the likes on this particular projector, I have to admit, it is a technology-packed design. Includes motorized horizontal and vertical lens shifting, focus, and zoom. All three of those are basically mechanically controlled using the backlit remote. Very nice. It means you can stand by the screen while you're making adjustments, and that's something that is really good, especially when you're doing things like focus and getting the screen to fit just right, or getting the image to fit just right on the screen. The benchmark results I collected by the recently updated SpectraCal Kelman software suite revealed that out of the box, the X3 is really optimized for a bright picture or a room with some low levels of ambient light. The X3's most consistent gamma preset, it measured right at 2.0, whereas a darker gamma of 2.2 is considered ideal for most home theater content. 2.0 is really, again, it's pushing out more light at the expense of maybe accurate image reproduction in a dark room environment. Now, the X3 does provide a custom gamma setup that a professional calibrator could use to dial it in just perfect. Also, the X3's default white balance, that's how it mixes red, blue, and green into white, and its color gamut were both decent. However, the provided controls allowed me to tune up the white balance. It starts off a little bit cool, a little bluish, and I was able to warm it up a little bit to the standard it's supposed to be. Bottom line, the X3, the JVC X3 sets basically a standard for features that I expect, or for price and performance and the features that it incorporates. It's pretty astounding what $4,500 will get you. That sounds like a lot of money, but if you consider even a year ago, easily 2 or 3 times that cost to get something that, A, it wasn't 3D, a 3-chip full projector design, and to have things like, motorized lens shifting and all the other features that are built in. 120 hertz performance as well if you're looking to have that. If you prefer, it's good for action, but for movies you probably wouldn't want to enable that. And I got to say, the only thing I would say to that would be that I think it's more expensive siblings, the X9 and the X7 respectively. They offer even better performance in terms of contrast. The blacks are darker. Also, they offer THX certification for color and other performance. They've hammered on those. That's what you get by spending a little bit more on those models compared to, say, the X3. Also, the X9 and X7 also provide some advanced color controls that I might have been able to use to further fine-tune the display. Now, comparing this to, say, the digital projections Cin 230, that costs a little bit more for that single-chip DLP system. However, I felt that they did a better job of its out-of-the-box performance compared to where, while this costs a little bit less and has a few more bells and whistles, I had to work a little bit harder to get the picture where I wanted it. But when you see the contrast of a DLA-based projector like this JVC, how dark black is compared to most other projectors out there, it's eye candy at its best. I really have to admit, it's fun viewing.
It's good stuff. It's been funny actually running a projector in the house to really start to get a handle on how much ambient light kid degrade the picture on the screen.
Yeah,
it'll a projector.
It depends a lot on the screen material too. Like I'm using a very sensitive screen for testing that if even the slightest light in the room will bounce hit the screen, bounce off, and radiate in all directions pretty evenly, and it will easily wash out. So it's more critical that I either use that screen in a very dark environment or just be aware of it.
Yeah, well, I mean, you can still watch it with some light coming in the windows. It's just amazing when you block that light how much deeper and richer the colors get.
It makes it pop, and it's when you can truly you want a pitch black room if possible. That's the best environment for watching a projector. And in many ways, you can exceed what's capable in movie theaters where they have to have emergency lighting and track lighting on the floors and all these other little distractions.
And other people. You
can have a completely unsafe environment in your house with no lights whatsoever and matte black walls and make it perfect. But
let us move on to the new Blu-ray releases.
Hey, now it's time for the new Blu-ray releases for the week of April 12th, 2011. First up, The Incredibles. This 2004 film from Pixar follows a family of superheroes who have tried to settle into a so-called normal life but get sucked back into the crime-fighting world. With an MPEG-4 AVC codec in the original 239:1 aspect ratio, Blu-ray.com gives the video quality a 4.5 out of 5, saying, quote, "Minor banding and nearly negligible aliasing are the only small-time criminals The Incredibles is forced to contend with, and even then, both issues are so fleeting and infrequent that it's barely worth mentioning," unquote. Overall, Pixar fans won't be disappointed, and they sum up saying, "The Incredibles look incredible." This 4-disc region-free release comes jam-packed with extras, including 2 full commentaries, 2 animated shorts, 35 minutes of deleted scenes, 2 hours of features from the DVD release, a home theater calibration tool, and you'll even get a code for a free Cars 2 movie ticket if you're a Disney Rewards member. Next up, Le Cercle Rouge. From the Criterion Collection, this 1970 French film follows a thief, an escaped murderer, and an ex-cop who team up for a jewelry heist. Directed by Jean-Pierre Melville, it's notable for its climactic action sequences, which last 25 minutes and contains no dialogue, and indeed much of the film is dialogue-free, which is why it makes me happy to see Criterion as the one to release this classic. This Region A locked release features an MPEG-4 AVC codec and the original 1.85:1 aspect ratio. Criterion painstakingly cleaned up the 35mm film, manually removing dirt and debris from each frame. This film comes with the original mono soundtrack, which was remastered at 24-bit from the 35mm magnetic soundtrack, with pops, clicks, and hisses manually removed for a clean audio experience. Extras on this disc include a bunch of archival footage, like a 28-minute clip from a French TV show, with Melville discussing his fascination with American films, and 4 other archival featurettes from French television, totaling 25 minutes. Also included is an illustrated booklet with essays and interviews. Also released this week, Sharp's Classic Collection. Sharp is a British series consisting of 16 2-hour episodes based on novels about a fictional soldier played by Sean Bean in the early 1800s. This collection includes the first 14 episodes, which aired between 1993 and 1997, while the 2 most recent episodes, released in 06 and 08, are not included in this collection, although they are available on Blu-ray separately. These 14 episodes are contained on 7 Blu-ray discs, and the set also includes a DVD of Sharp's Legend, which summarizes the entire story told in the rest of the series. It's all encased in a nice wooden box engraved with the Sharp logo, and includes a map of Europe during the Napoleonic Wars, and a collector's edition letter opener. And as always, check out our show notes at techzilla.com or hdnation.tv for the rest of this week's Blu-ray releases. Hey, it's time to thank one of our sponsors, GameFly. GameFly is the largest online video game rental service, offering you a choice from over 7,000 new and classic titles across all consoles and handhelds. With plans starting at $15.95 a month, GameFly members can rent 1 to 4 games at a time and keep them for as long as they like. With no late fees, no due dates, and shipping is always free. Finish playing a game? Send it back and GameFly will send you the next game on your list. If you love the game you're playing, click Keep It on the GameFly website and the game is yours at a discounted price. Techzilla fans get a 2-week free trial when they go to gamefly.com/Techzilla.